Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tres Jolie channel. I am here working on my second project this month, using the Cards, Tags, and More kit. I'm going to go over real quick what I have left to work with from the kit, from my first, or that I didn't use on the first project. I have 3 of these little resin clock faces left. I have all of the chipboard gears left. I have all of these butterflies left. I have the pack of flowers left. And I have some of the papers left. I have 2 full sheets left. And this feller that I cut out, this cut apart sheet, and just a couple little scraps that have some of the phrases on them, even though they're not exactly whole. And that one. And I am going to be working on a little kind of junk journal-y thing. But I first want to, this guy is going to go on my cover. And I have this little book, which I think it is maybe 4 by 7. It's 4 by 6 3/4. Just this little book that it said representative short stories. I don't know exactly where it came from, but I do think it will work. I like the color of this cover. It goes well with those reds that are in this paper pack. So my first couple things to start with is going to be backing this fella with some pretty good sized chipboard, because he is going to be on the cover, but he will end up sticking off the cover. So I want those areas reinforced, and this will also give a little bit of lift. So what I'm going to do is put him face down on what will be the back side, and grab up I'm gonna grab up just a white pencil here and trace around so I can cut the chipboard to size. Okay, before I glue him down, I am going to take this opportunity, because I think it's going to go very well with it, take this opportunity to use some of the new Distress Oxides, or the new Distress Color, the salvaged patina, and I'm going to start, and I'm just going to ink around this edge. Actually, maybe paint? I'm trying to think here. Paint might be better for the cover. I think I'm gonna, yeah, I'll do the paint on that edge there. I'm just going to use, no, I can use a brush. There we go. I worked it out. I know what I'm doing now. I'm just going to grab up a package and this paint, and I'm going to brush it on this edge. No gesso or anything on it. Just to kind of give it some color. Alright, there you have it. Just gonna go set him off to dry. I just used some PVA glue and brushed it on that chipboard, and then used my brayer to make sure it was nice and flat on there. And now another prep step that I want to do here is to get my tie ready. What I will be using to tie the book closed when it is done. And I'm going to grab up, I have this, I think it's 1/2 inch, yeah, it's 1/2 inch herringbone. And I'm just going to make sure I have enough that I will be able to a couple times. We'll see here. I guess, let's see. Nice long. There. I think that will work. And then I will cut those, and I'm going to tie the ends, or I'm going to tie one end, just a knot in it, like so, to hold them. And then I'm going to grab up my craft knife here and find about center. So it's 6 3/4, so it should be about 3 3/8. Is about center, and I'm gonna mark them, or mark it in here, and then transfer it to match over here. And then I'm going to use my craft knife to slice open the edges here. So just be very careful when you're doing this. Don't stab yourself. And now, with those opened up there, I'm going to grab up some heavy gel and use that to hold my ends in. So I will take them, and I have a narrow palette knife here that I'm going to use to just grab some of that up, and let me try to, oh crap, very fragile book. That wasn't supposed to happen. I'll have to glue it shut. while I have these two parts off drying, I want to work on how I'm going to do the inserts of this. And I'm going to use these two papers to make the first, or the start, I guess we'll call it the start of the two signatures in there. Maybe I'll do one on the outside, one on the inside. I really love this locomotive and balloon here. So I think I'm actually going to put this on the outside of a signature and the other one on the inside of a signature. And I'm going to grab a hold of my stash of tea-dyed papers that I have and old papers I have to add the rest of the pages in. These are folded in half. I have grabbed up some papers. These are just some cards in some craft stock, blank cards. I have some papers that I keep on hand that I tea-dyed, ledger paper, like that paper with the big lines that you get in grade school. Just some blank copy paper, already tea-dyed. And I figured now is also a good time. Might be able to use up a sheet or two of just the paper, not cardstock, but the 12 by 12 papers. And I grabbed out some that I had that have the more muted tones, maybe kind of a more vintage look. And I don't know exactly how much or which ones I will be using, but I'm going to get everything cut down to fit inside this book. Like this right here works fine, just fold it in half and it leaves a bit for the edge for closing, but I do have to trim the heights down, and I do want to try to keep it as centered as possible, depending on how the design is. And I'm just going to mark it and cut them, and then cut these down so that they will also fit in these little booklets that I'll be putting in. Alright, my two little signatures are done, and I'm going to turn the volume down on my phone real quick, at least some way. And I like the paper that is the original inside of the book, but I do want to reinforce the spine and tape down these rough edges, and I'm just going to do that with some 2-inch bookbinding tape, and I'm just going to cut it down to the same size as those inside papers and peel it and stick it in place. And then I'm going to work on the cover. Alright, for my cover, I'm going to use a couple of creative embellishment stencils. These are from my stash, and it's some rivet stencil and the clock stencil. And because I'm going to kind of stack them with each other, well, not on top of each other, well, I'll show you. And there, because I couldn't really figure out exactly which one I wanted, I decided I was going to go with 2 of them. And I'm going to kind of go like this and like this. And I don't want this to get on the spine. Maybe I'll go like so. Well, I will have to do them a little bit at a time. Anyhow, so I'm going to stencil on the front and the back, and I'm just going to use my super heavy gel. It's nice and sticky, and I will be painting over it, so I'm not worried about color or anything. It's just going to be there for texture underneath the paints. Okay, this isn't all the way dry, as you can see, because it does dry clear. So some of the thicker areas aren't all the way dry all the way through, but it is dry enough for me to move on to my next step, and that's going to be brushing on some clear gesso all over this, and I'll dry it. And I think I'm going to put some clear gesso in here just to protect the inside cover a little bit, since it is a rather old book cover. Alright, this is dry enough to touch still. I don't want to put on too much all at once, because I do want this gel to dry, but I do also kind of want to keep going while I have a flow going in my head. So I'm going to work on how I want my cover to look. Like I said, I absolutely adore this little dude that came in the paper pack. I don't even care if he's bigger than the cover. I kind of like it being bigger than the cover, and I think I'm actually going to go with having him centered like so. It doesn't really stick off. His shoulders don't stick off too much. You can see just a little bit there. And so I'm definitely going to go with having him centered. But I do want to add a couple things around him. I have this package of mechanicals. Now, I hoard them. I love them. I only have the one package, and I've been hoarding them. They actually came in the March 2020 Cards, Tags, and More kit. So I'm going to break into them for this project, I think. They go well with the steampunky theme here. Eventually I will get them open. There we go. And then I have the chipboard gears from Tres Jolie from this month's kit. or the Tres Jolie gears. Either way. Nope. And I do kind of want to add some gear layers back here. Alright, I have it started out here. I am going to be adding this little Mechanicals Wings to his mustache, and I'll go grab a brad up to go through the hole. I've had this, or these wings are actually a partial pack I have left from the July 2018 mixed media kit. So I'm going to, well, I'm not going to only use the brad to hold it down. I am going to stick all these parts down with more heavy, super heavy gel. And I'm going to use the super heavy gel to also put this on after I stick the brad through, just to give it extra support. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. Just adding the gel to these pieces and getting them on here, and then letting things set up and dry. Alright, I tested out kind of just how that salvaged patina would look on just the gessoed chipboard. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to paint my chipboard gears and maybe a little bit onto the numbers with some steampunk copper. I've had from the January 2020 mixed media kit, so it's coming in handy now. I think I have about half a jar in here, but that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna go steampunk copper things and then dry it and then work on adding in some of that salvaged patina. My cover is done, except for adding my little guy here. But I'm going to put him on last just because I still have to work with this a little bit when I put those two signatures in. So for now, I'm just going to set this off to the side. It is still a bit damp in it. It's not, none of the paints are wet, but I can still feel moisture. So I'm just going to set it off to the side, standing up. Let it keep air drying some. Oh, and I wanted to talk about this. It doesn't really do anything, and it's not a heavy duty protection, but I put some workable fixative on this guy here. Just it's mostly just kind of for fingerprints, but like I said, it's not really going to hold up to anything major. it's just a little bit of a spray there. You could brush on gesso if you wanted. I just found the spray easier, and it only takes like 5 minutes to air dry. So I'm put him off to the side because I do kind of want to work on some of the papers here, like this one, because it was only a single-sided sheet of scrapbook paper, and this green one also. And I may or may not do something to the other parts. I don't think I will, but I do want to add a little bit color just to those the white sides of those papers. So I'm going to pull them out, and now I have this surface here, and I better get something to clean up with as I go along, because I'm just going to kind of make a mess. And I'm going to start, I have some aged mahogany distress oxide, because I think it goes really well with that book cover and the kind of reds that are in that paper. And I'm just going to do that with it. And spray it down and swipe my papers through. And now that all of my aged mahogany is dry, I am going to do the same thing with the swiping and the drying, but I'm going to do it with the salvaged patina. Actually, I should probably let this cool a little bit. Anyhow, so salvaged patina, swiping, and trying to fill in between and overlapping, and it's just seeing what kind of mess I can really make. My papers are dry. I like how those colors came out together. There's those. But I kind of want to add to this side nothing heavy. I'm just going to use my oxide sprays in the salvaged patina and the aged mahogany and splatter, and then dry those splatters. Okay, I am going to kind of sort of get my spine ready for assembly. I have the papers for those signatures sitting over here, and I'm going to grab up some eyelets. Hopefully, I'm hoping I have some that are going to go with that salvaged patina. I'm hoping, but I'm not sure what I have available in colors anymore. See, like, if I can find 4 in this color, then I will use them. Well, I didn't have 4 teal, but I did have 4 that are kind of a dark burgundy that will go good against that as well. So that'll work just fine. And I'm gonna kind of come in here, kind of eyeball. It's not a big spine, so think I'll be able to eyeball where to put things in at. Pretty good. Ooh, that's how I'll do it. There, I will kind of line it up like that. There we go. That will work there. And I'm going to grab a marker or a pencil marker, something that will write on here. And I'm gonna go, I should have done this. There's the fold up here. I'm gonna go just past where those cover folds are there. If that made sense. I hope that made sense. Where the overlaps folds up. There we go. Now I just want to make sure all my, that one actually had a wet spot still. Spots are dry. Or at least not gonna smudge off. And I'm going to put my signatures back together real quick and then line them up here so that I can use my awl to poke the holes in them for getting put into the book cover. Okay, I already put this one in, and I am just using some cyan trim from Prima. It's wire trim, and this is from my stash. And I can't say I can't take credit for thinking of the wire. Oh, I mean, I still will do junk journals with the traditional sewing for the binding, but this I think works also on, depending on the style of the project. But I saw Finnabair do this quite a few months back now, and she used wire when she put a book together. And well, of course, then I had to eventually also use wire, and I do like the way it looks on projects that are kind of, I don't know, messy, I guess might be the word. This one's, you know, kind of got a lot of mediums on the cover and everything, and I just think it goes good on certain styles of book binding. Now obviously this is not meant to be permanent. It is meant so that you could, if you do some artwork on these pages, take notes on these pages, they are very easy to remove. So if you drew on them, did art on them, then you could cut them out and add them to a project. So I guess this is more of a project book than a junk journal. I don't really know what to call it. I just really, as soon as I saw the papers in the kit this month, I knew what I wanted to do. And that was, well, what I'm doing right now. And just pull and twist it up like a bread tie. There we go. Now I did cut my ends so they don't stick out. And I have a little book here that, see, I really like how the wire looks. I mean, it worked out in my favor that I had just got the cyan trim, the same, or a little bit before the new salvaged patina had come out, and both of those before I knew what the papers were. Is one of those, everything just lined up just right for me. Okay, and now for this guy. He has got to go on my cover. And I want to make sure he's going to stay down. So he is going to get some heavy gel treatment here. And then I am just going to let this sit up. So, let me see here. There we go. I'm going to use this to weigh my cover a little bit. There in the center, so it quits trying to open up on me while I get my steampunk dude situated. I am back with this. It's the next morning. I let it sit overnight. Just so this could set up. It'll take a bit to get all the way dry. You can see that gel under there is still white, but it's enough that I think I can finish up what I need to do. And that's on there, and it's nice and supported, and the mustache isn't going to go anywhere, and my cover is done, and my pages are in. And I just want to add this little charm here to it, and it is a vintage trinket, Prima vintage trinket. I've had this pack since the April 2019 scrapbooking kit, and I have this little bit of chain. I'm not sure where it came from. I just found it in my drawer, and it was just the right length and the same aged color. Like, some of this is coppery, and this is a lighter, and well, this matches with it. It doesn't have to be an exact match. And I just want to hang it from, I think I'm going to hang it from one of these top eyelets is all. Just a little bit of a little dangle going on here. And then I will be done with it. I love how this came out. Like I said, I fell in love with this little dude here as soon as I saw him on that paper. I knew I had to put him right on the cover of something. So I'm going to attach this real quick, and then just kind of talk about what parts I used as a review that had came in the cards, tags, and more kit. Okay, my little charm is on. I had to put a bigger jump ring up here that would fit in this space, or fit over that space. Everything is done. So real quick, I'm just going to go over what came from this month's kit, which was this dude here. I had cut out from the paper pack. Those chipboard gears, and the couple full pieces of the pattern paper that I stuck into this little journal. Those were all from the kit this month. A lot of other goodies on here that I had from previous kits, and a lot from my stash, just my personal stash. I really, really love how this came out. I mean, I love this dude. I wanted him front and center on a cover as soon as I saw him. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some ideas of what can be done with some of those items from this month's Cards, Tags, and More kit. And thank you for joining us here at Tres Jolie, and I will see you again soon.